too. And it's for the other women. And I feel such regret about that. I really do. I want people to understand that I don't do this to get attention or to make myself more important. I really, really want the best for Black women, and I feel like we need to have a counter voice. And so I feel like if I don't admit that I did something wrong by bringing this person on to pile on more Black women hate, then I'm just as bad and just as culpable than all of those other hateful people. The heartbreaking thing is that I expect the Black men to be bashing. This is what they do on YouTube. But, you know, to see somebody bash Black women just because it makes you more popular. And no Black woman has done anything to this man. You know, if you look back at his videos, Black women...
Christelyn is a confused swirler that has a platform dedicated to, I guess you could say, inspiring would-be Black women to get into relationships with primarily white men. She even disregards their safety by encouraging them to pursue romantic relationships even at the detriment of their own health or well-being. The two being mutually exclusive, she has even been able to build a decent following by following this particular blueprint. However, there have been many cases of Black women being murdered by their so-called holier-than-thou white man. It's as if it's some sort of cult, thinking that a person should be held to a higher standard and placed on a pedestal just because of their whiteness. It's very strange that she does this and is able to basically gain a large following. Kind of disturbing. You would think that after hearing her say stuff like that, like we should abort all Black male babies. She says stuff like that in her videos. Abort all Black male babies. She should be ostracized from the Black community, but to be honest, it shouldn't really come as a surprise to any of you, and neither should it come as a surprise for me that she's conducting herself like this. It's because society tends to demonize Black men as a whole as criminals and deadbeats. Even though reality may be a different story entirely, society tends to look at Black people as the worst of the worst. Being hated for being Black is a very real thing. I believe that she's responsible for a lot of harm being done to the Black community. She's in the same bracket as other Black female YouTubers, such as Cynthia G, Chrissy, as well as Paris Milan. Those Black female YouTubers, they all have the same message. Black men are the worst of the worst. All they're going to do is leave you in debt and they're going to leave you alone and they're going to make you a single mother. The problem with what she says isn't even that she's advocating for Black women to get with white men. We don't care. They can get with as many white men as they want. That's not the problem. It's that she's telling them to swirl and put character over color when in reality she's doing anything but that. She tells Black women to make sacrifices and stand by a white man through thick and thin. But when you contrast that to their relationships with Black men, as soon as there's the first sign of trouble, she leaves. That's what she tells Black women to do. Really strange. Let's take a look at her own personal life. She was with a white man that was unemployed. She was primarily a breadwinner. Would she have done that if the tables were turned? Would she stand by a Black man and be with him through thick and thin? I think not. This is the same group of so-called divestors that say thank God for slavery. Isn't that crazy to think about? The fact that a time in history that was possibly the most insane and traumatic is what they celebrate? I mean, I get it. I don't think these women are in touch with reality. They have this image in their mind of what they want the world to be, sort of like a utopia. Sooner or later, reality is going to hit them that most people within their own group, that's where they stay. Most people stay within their own group, and tribalism is something real that everyone exercises. You know, you can go through life thinking that color and race doesn't matter, but it does. It really does. Sometimes it's integral. Sometimes it's the most important thing. You know, people can tell you that it doesn't matter, but it does. I really think that these swirlers, divestors, whatever the fuck they call themselves, are just gonna get their reality check. Either sooner or later, the white dude that they're swirling with, or whatever they call it, kills them, which happens more often than not in these so-called relationships. I mean, I want to be clear here. I don't wish any harm on these black women that swirl. I don't care, but the reality is a lot of the times, sometimes they get killed, and there's been a lot of news articles coming out that the black women that are with these white men, they're getting killed. Like, a lot of them are getting killed. So pretty crazy, and I call it unnatural, not because of skin color. It's because it's as if they worship their skin color just for the sake of it. Don't tell me they do it because they believe they can benefit from it in some way, because the majority of the time, it's the black woman that's the breadwinner in the relationship. Case in point, Serena Williams. Serena Williams is worth upwards of $300 million, and Alexis Ohanian is worth $10 million, maybe $20 million at best. And that's kind of interesting to see. Don't you think that's strange that these swirlers that want to divest themselves from Blackistan are always constantly talking about why they hate black men and they don't like them and they don't like to commit? Would you keep talking about something or someone that you can't stand and hate? I know the answer. It's because of some sort of unresolved issue with their father, or they've had a string of bad relationships with black men, and now they want to write off all black men because of their relationships with a few people, which seems very stupid and immature, but I think it's more so because they feel that they want to climb the social ladder, or they want to gain some type of power, but in reality, they're not really getting with any white men that are of stature or importance or power. They're getting with white men that are strung out on drugs on the street, or homeless, but if they do get with a white man, typically they're the ones that have more money than him. So they claim that there's another thing that they always talk about is hypergamy, but in reality, they don't really live a very hypergamous lifestyle because they don't get with men that have more things than them. They get with men that have less things than them. They are typically the breadwinners, like I've said before. Crazy. It's a reality. I mean, in reality, they're gonna have to kind of come to grips with this. I know the answer. I know what it is, but spewing their vitriol on a public platform for financial gain, I think it kind of helps them cope with their apparent lack of ability to connect with their own people. It's a reality that they're going to come to grips with sooner or later. If not, it doesn't really matter, because in the big picture, these women will continue to do what they do. I don't even think white men will want them, or any other group of men from any other race. This is because they are constantly talking about black men on YouTube. So if you're a white man with a black woman, are you going to be happy or happy in that relationship when she's sitting there at home on live talking about black men all day for hours and hours, but you don't like it, but you're talking about it for hours and hours? I mean, she's not going to get a white man of any substance. What kind of man will want his woman to be talking about another group of men that she has apparently divested from? Crazy. I don't think any man from any race or any stature or importance will be attracted to this type of woman for any type of long-term commitment. Sure, they'll have sex with them, they'll have sex with the black women, but they're not gonna fucking marry them. That's obviously not gonna happen. The sex versus actual commitment, there is a huge difference, and they will soon realize that their efforts are futile, and they are being used as a pawn in this game of life. They're being used as pawns. Exactly. And honestly, I don't believe that the Serena Williams and her relationship with Alexis Ohanian is gonna last too long. I also don't think that. I think that a lot of these relationships that these black women have with white men is typically because they are willing to endure a lot more to keep the relationship together, as opposed to leaving the relationship when the white man's fucking up, or he's probably cheating on her with white women and fucking all these chicks, and he's getting away with it because the black woman has such low self-esteem that she feels that she has to put up with this because no other man will want her that's white. So, it's interesting how the psychology of a swirler, how it is. It's very, very interesting, but It's also very crazy. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. I'm out. Peace.